Okay guys, what is up? Welcome to this video. As you can see here in the beginning part of this time lapse, it is me trying to straighten out the dowel that the timing gear slides onto. The block had been dropped or hit at some point, and the front part of the dowel that has the groove in it got bent, and so it was not easy to get the planetary gear on there. There you can see I'm pounding it in with a hammer, and it finally just popped on. And the next step here, slide the timing gear in and try and get it lined up with the cam and the crank. And that is me right there putting lube on everything, getting it all slick so it goes together nice. Right there you can see I got it jammed because I didn't have the cam and the crank lined up in the right spot, and I thought that it was something else. So you can see I'm pulling that center planetary back out. Which took quite a bit because that shaft was bent and broken. There you can see I just aligned the cam, and eventually I will go on to align the crankshaft right here, I believe. Yep, you can see it move, and I put the gear up. There are dots carved into all three of the gears that are supposed to line up with each other, and that is how you know if the engine is in time. This part took a little while to get accomplished because everything has to be in a very precise location, and the cam was very hard to turn over with the valves hooked up on it, and the crank, obviously without enough leverage, is quite difficult to turn over when you have the valves in because of compression. Makes it hard to turn it over. So there you can see I'm trying to figure out where things go. Again, like with everything in this whole series, I did not take this engine apart, so I was going based off of my own observations and the engine manual, which took a little bit of time to decipher and go through. There you can see I grabbed the front cover to check and make sure that that piece that I was holding definitely goes in with the timing gear. But this timing gear really gave me a lot of trouble in the beginning until I eventually figured out how it went in there, and then it all kind of just worked out. There you can see I'm trying to figure out what order the washers and spacers and the center planetary go in. That took me a little while to figure out as well. This actually, the way I have this set up in here right now is incorrect. That spacer does not go in the back. You'll see later that it goes on the very outside, and it is just a spacer to hold the whole planetary gear setup together. There you can see me pry it off. Again, that shaft is bent and everything was very tight and would not just slide on. So while that is not the right way to necessarily take that off of there, it should normally slide. That is what I had to do. And again, guys, this engine is not going to run for quite a while if I ever decide to make it run. I got it for free, and it was going to the scrapyard, and I just took it to build it for the experience, which ended up being a very good one, and it went a lot faster than I expected. This whole build did. It only took me like 15 hours. I believe it was 15 hours I had in this whole project. So over the course of 2 days, so it was about 2 8-hour days that I had in this project, which was not very much at all in the grand scheme of things. So there you can see I'm putting the center gear, the center piece of the planetary gear together, and then the big washer goes on there. That is what holds the gear inside, and then the spacer, and then the clip goes on right there. You can see me tap it in, or attempting to tap it in, and there it is. It's all together. Now you can see I'm turning the engine over to make sure that everything is actually moving correctly. And I did not have the valves adjusted at this point, so it would go about half a turn and then lock up because it was bottoming out a valve. So that was part of the problem. The spring wouldn't go down anymore, so So right here in the video, you can see I am pulling the injection pump back out of the block. I had it installed originally and I realized that I can't hook it up unless it is off. I have to put the front cover on first. But right here you can see me struggling to get the front cover lined up, and it will not go on all the way. And there is a reason for that. There is a spacer plate that I found that I did not realize that I had, and it goes in behind the cover and gives it just enough room there to clearance all of everything properly. So later you will see me pull this front cover off multiple times, trying to figure out what is wrong and why it will not go into its place. As you can see there, I reinstalled the injection pump, but that will have to come back out again later because of this front spacer plate. So right now you see me twisting the injectors into their place. This engine is indirect injection. I am going to make a video on the difference between direct and indirect injection, so make sure to stay tuned for that. I'm pretty sure I will put it in this video series and in the trucks playlist video series, so stay tuned for that. That should be a good video if you're interested in learning about engines. Right there, I just installed all 3 of the glow plugs, which are to preheat the air inside the cylinder to make the combustion go a little bit smoother on startup. Right here, I am installing the thermostat and thermostat housing. Again, I don't know how this engine goes together until obviously I figure it out. So you see me try a couple different ways and a couple different bolts to figure out which ones go where and the orientation of everything inside of that housing. Right here you can see I'm using a ratchet to put this on. I have no idea why I did that. I could have totally grabbed the impact and just zipped them in really quick. Some things I don't go over in my head. And I needed a drink of Mountain Dew. So right now I'm about to install the water pump, but you can't see that because I'm blocking the camera. And then I realize eventually that I'm blocking the camera right there. There we go. Now you can see I'm installing the water pump on this engine. And right here, I was discussing things with my grandfather, who happened to walk through since it is his shop, and yeah. Right here I'm trying to find the proper nuts and bolts to go into places, and I found some acorn nuts that actually top off the valve cover because I was missing some nuts that go elsewhere and needed to swap them out. I know it doesn't seem like much is getting done in this time lapse, but really this was quite a long time. I believe this was probably half hour, 40 minutes of actual work, cut down, obviously, because it's in 4 times speed. So yeah, it was about a 40-minute time lapse here as I'm looking at my editing screen and looking at the times on my clips. As you can see here, I am looking about putting this pulley on and then realized that was really stupid because I don't have the front cover on yet, not bolted in. So I went to put the pulley on and then realized that that was wrong and I have to knock it off. But as you can see here, I am finding the socket and the nut that go on this pulley that hold it onto the shaft. I also, in this build, did not realize, well, I realized it, but I didn't know where it was at. There is a Woodruff key, which is a little square of metal that goes between the crankshaft and the front crank pulley to keep it in place so it doesn't spin on the shaft. So here you can see I'm prying this front pulley off, and actually I'm smacking it with a hammer, and eventually it does pop loose. There you go. And now you will see me start to put the front cover on. As you can see, I'm stealing bolts because they were in the wrong place, which happened quite frequently on this build, and that was one of the problems and why it took longer than it should have. I probably could have had this done in one day if everything was labeled out and laid out where it was easy to access and identify where it goes, but that was not the case for this build. Well, it was free, so I can't complain. Right here you can see me installing some more bolts into the water pump housing there, and this was another problem. Again, I was missing so many bolts. Well, not missing, I just could not find where they went, and it was trial and error in every single hole they went into to see if the threads were right, to see if the length was right. Mostly it was length because everything had the same threads and they were pretty much all the exact same bolt, but the lengths were the challenging part. You can see me here playing in the basket, the strainer basket there, which used to be in the solvent tank, where I cleaned all the nuts and bolts because they were in the oil pan covered in oil, which was unfortunate, but it was kind of nice that they were all in one spot and I could get them cleaned. Here you can see me going ahead and putting in some of the bolts in the front cover, and right in the bottom of the front cover by the crankshaft there, you can see there's a gap, and you can see me here trying to put it on and then it won't go on, so I back the bolt out, back all the bolts out, and then try and assess the situation and figure out why the front cover won't go on. So here I have to pull the injection pump out. I know you can't see that, but I have to disconnect the injection pump to pull the front cover off since it is attached to the throttle. Right there you can see I got it stuck on the front of the engine and it would not come off for a while, and I did not know why. So that was because I managed to get it wedged and twisted on the studs that align it. Here you can see it got to the point where I had to use a pry bar and a screwdriver to actually get it off of the front of the engine, and I have to pull the water pump back off. Here you can see I'm working it back on now, or attempting to work the front cover back on, and trying to figure out why it's not going on the front there. This was a big, long process to figure out how this thing goes on there. And it took me, this was still the first day of the build, and I ended up cracking this cover this first night, and ended up quitting at that point because I realized that I broke it and I didn't want to do anything else. I needed some time to think about it and figure out what I was doing wrong. Right here you can see me, I'm playing with, I found an extra spring that I knew went into the throttle control somewhere, and I was trying to figure that out for a while, and this was just before I ended up cracking the case, I think, or maybe right after I cracked the case. I don't really remember that much, but it was one of those things that didn't really matter because it's not going to work anyway, so that's that. Alright guys, well, I have some bad news, okay? So I was working on this front cover, getting it on. I got the whole front of the engine put in, all the timing gears and everything. And I was putting this on and it wouldn't go on, so I was changing some things and working some things out. And it appears that in that process, this front cover has cracked. which means that this is flexing around something in here with this timing gear, and I have no idea what it is. I don't know why it would be doing that. So even though this engine wasn't going to run, now if I decide I want it to run, I'll have to get a new front cover, which kind of sucks. So I think I'm done for tonight. But we made lots of progress today. Seriously, we made lots of progress. I mean, we got the cam, crank, timing gear, head, pistons, and we got the valve train in. So that is good. In theory, we could have the injection pump on. I did pull the injectors out because I was going to do something with these, but then I realized that the nuts weren't there. So the injectors are good to go in, and realistically the valve cover can go on. So also we got the thermostat housing and thermostat installed. So really, this engine is working well. I had the water pump on it before and it was great, but then we had problems with this front cover. So that's where I'm going to end this video today, guys. Hope you enjoyed it. I will be back tomorrow, so hopefully I can figure out what's wrong with this front cover, why it won't go on, and that might require taking the whole planetary out and putting it in the front cover by itself to see if that's the problem. But anyway, hope you guys enjoyed. Make sure you click that subscribe button, turn on those post notifications, and drop a like on this video if you enjoyed it. I know there was a lot of time lapsing of me building and it was kind of confusing, but this is the first time I've ever built an engine on camera, so it's kind of tricky. I want to show you every single part in detail. I want to tell you about everything, but I really just can't do that unless I want to make a 30-part video series, and I just wanted this to be quick and done in a week, and I got most of it done in one day. So hopefully you guys enjoyed. Come back tomorrow for the next part of this video, and hopefully a complete build. No, this engine will not run. No, I'm not trying to make it run. I am just trying to put it back together. But if you enjoyed this video, make sure you come back tomorrow because there will be more information about this cracked housing. I cannot even believe that that cracked right in here. That is crazy. Anyway, I will catch you guys in the next one.